Welcome, everyone. Super excited to have you all here today to learn about LinkedIn lead generation, a simple, authentic, and relationship-based approach. So today we're going to learn 3 simple and doable lead generation strategies you can implement immediately. You will walk away understanding how you can customize your own lead generation and relationship building style so it works for you. A little bit of how tonight is going to go, or today, wherever you are in the world. If you have any questions, anytime you can write them in the chat, and we will have some opportunities as Eric is going over the different strategies to actually ask your questions about the strategies. So keep the question coming. I'm super excited to have our expert speaker today, Eric C. Johnson, who is all about relationships. He trains service-based businesses how to use LinkedIn to identify leads, cultivate relationships, and create sales calls. His strategies focus on ease and authenticity while making room for you to stay true to yourself. So please give a warm welcome to Eric. Welcome, Eric. Great to have
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's great to be here. All right. Well, let's go ahead and jump in. The first thing I want to know is about everyone here. And I'm curious if you will tell us, what is your job title or what do you do? This is going to help me know how to navigate what I'm sharing with more detail. And then, of course, as you see different people, feel free later to connect with them on LinkedIn. And you should be able to see the chat and be able to put your answer there. And this is no pressure. This doesn't have to be like the perfect tagline, you know, I do this, I do that. All right. Let's see. Okay, business development, outbound sales, Ziggy. Okay, great. Personal coach, supervisor, Alex, phenomenal. Market, business coach, author. And people too, if I'm saying your name correctly, CEO of, an architectural group. Excellent. Okay. Phenomenal. Okay, excellent. Okay, so basically everyone here is smarter than me. That is just awesome. Okay, great. Well, thank you for telling me. I just wanted to really see. I might ask you a bit more in detail if we have a Q&A to expand on some things a bit more. You know, starting out, I want to tell you a bit of a story. I've been in business for 8 years, and prior to having my own business, I worked as a teacher, a high school teacher, a Spanish teacher, and then I also worked at a large nonprofit. That was basically what I did before. Just moving the chat over, before I started my own business. So Hillary and I were kind of joking about this. Is basically I was really skilled at not asking for money, and I was really skilled at working really hard and not making much money, right? So I remember at 1 year with teaching, I had 160 kids a day coming through my classroom. And, you know, it's not just that, it's the kids had their English names, but they also had Spanish names. So, you know, it was double, right? And so when I moved into my own business, I thought it was going to be very logical. You just have your business plan and you do this and everything works out. And then, you know, this thing hit me, it's called reality. And it was nothing like that. And I really discovered being an entrepreneur, having your own business, being self-employed is really very much an emotional journey that requires all of you. You know, it exposes all your fears, all your inadequacies, as well as it's a channel to share your gifts, your talents, your abilities, everything like that. And so fortunately, my business started out well. And then about in probably the second or third year, I hit this really, really low streak where nothing was happening. And it's because I had basically relied on word of mouth marketing, and I wasn't growing myself in my skills of building relationships and things like that. And so at one point, after a divorce, I found myself living the dream of every, late 30s guy, which was I was living with my mom in Vegas. So here I know, yeah, I know, Annie. Yeah, it's like, whoo, achievement, next level, right? Achievement unlocked. So I was living with my mom and making little to no money. I was living in the city that was just booming with things to do. I had all this time, no money to do anything. And so I did what people told me to do. I joined the Chamber of Commerce, which for me was not fruitful. And then I began networking. You know, you need to network. And so it turned into networking 10, 15, I think sometimes 20 hours a week. And I'm kind of a hybrid. I'm not full on introvert. I'm not full on extrovert. Um, and so for me, networking in person, it really it was so draining to me, like completely draining. And you know what it's like when you sometimes go to these events and you're thinking, I'm meeting everyone in the world here except a lead, except anyone who could be an ideal client. I have learned the top 100 multi-level marketing businesses in the world. I have them memorized at this point. And how many just wave at me if you've experienced this before? Just wave. If you know, okay, good. Yes. And so this was just not working for me. It was exhausting. It was draining. And, it was Vegas. I'm dressed up. It's so hot. And it just really wasn't working for me at all. And so at that time, I decided, you know what? I'm just going to reach out on LinkedIn and see what happens, right? Like, what's the worst case? Well, I mean, like, I already have people saying no, and I can't even find them in the first place if they do say no, right? And so now this is years ago, so don't get attached to these numbers. But I spent about 30 minutes sending out small, and like, I'm really scared to send this, sending out small messages. And at the time, it was with my social media marketing agency. And I offered a free social media assessment, like probably what many of you do, some type of an assessment, some type of, here's an opportunity to get to know me, to learn more about each other. And so from that 30 minutes, I would say I brought in, but really what was created from that 30 minutes was 3 sales calls. And so it was just this moment of, okay, 30 minutes, and this brought in 3 sales calls. And so instantly I kissed networking goodbye. I mean, I never went back in any city except for 3 times. And that's because I wanted to poll people in person, like, what do you feel about lead generation or what's going on, that sort of thing, or if it was a fun event. But literally, it was so liberating for me to discover that I can let all this go. This doesn't fit my personality. It is draining to me, and I can let it go. And now one of my stances nowadays is that, with 1 or 2 just simple lead generation techniques that work well for you, you can really build your business on your own terms. You can have financial peace of mind. And for me, it's like this firm foundation for my business, because once you learn skills of how do I identify my ideal clients, how do I reach out to them, how do I authentically just get to know them, they get to know me. I get pushback from this, but I'm like, I'm set for life. I'm not worried. I'm not worried. Things blow up. Every client or student cancels today, because like many of you can learn this 1 or 2 key skills that really set you up for life. And so from that moment, I was able to turn my business around. And, I want you to understand, this wasn't just like, oh, there's new clients coming in and there's new money coming in. All of a sudden, my business was infused with new energy, new passion, new fulfillment, and client students get good results. Then they share testimonials, and then it keeps, growing and growing and reaching people. And it's just a phenomenal, incredible, beautiful thing to be able to create and to be a part of. And so as marketers would say, that was a bit of my vulnerability story, but that was really it. I just hit this point of, this is driving me crazy. And like many of you, you've probably had that moment of where you have that, it's just like that one moment where you're thinking, it would just be really easy to go get a job right now. It would just be really easy. but then all your whys come rushing back, whatever your whys are. Mine are freedom. I want location independence, all of those things. And so what I'm sharing today can give you some entryways to reach out to your ideal clients and get to know them more. And really, this centers on two different things. One is the stance from where I'm coming from is the most important thing in life is relationships. Like, let's keep it simple. What's the most important thing? Relationships. And then what's the most important skill? That would be communication. And where these two intersect, where they overlap, in my brain is conversations, the art of conversation. And so with that, I just want to see what you're going to share in the chat. Tell us, what will having more leads, what will having more clients produce for you? Just in one or two words. And we don't want to hear money because that's the most basic answer. We want you to give us an answer. What does that open up for you? What does it do? Oh, security. Help more people. Oh, and Rich, you were at least sleeping on your own couch. Okay. Security, less frustration. Oh yeah, stress relief. Very good. Okay, excellent, phenomenal. Encouragement to press on. Okay, outstanding. One of the viewpoints that really helped me that I got grounded in last year, that you might try this on, see if it suits you. One thing that really compels me is I have dreams on the line, and money touches them for the most part in some way, but I have dreams on the line. And then when I think of clients, when I think of students, course students, they have dreams on the line too. And we want to see these come true. We want to see them happen. Okay, so with that, it would make life simpler. That's a phenomenal answer. So with that, I want to segue into talking some about authenticity, and then we're going to get into some lead generation techniques for you. Any questions so far while we're getting ready to transition to something else? All right. And one thing to know about before we transition into authenticity is this. Some of you, I want you to imagine yourselves as a spectrum. Some of you, when it comes to LinkedIn especially, it's easier for you to identify ideal clients. Like if I work with bloggers, I work with business coaches, I work with startups, I work with bookkeepers, if you have that job title, just know it's easier for you. And then I think on the other end of the spectrum I see sometimes is if you're trying to catch or find someone who's in a process, I just want you to know that it will be a bit more challenging for you to dial it in. So for example, if you're a book editor and you're trying to find an author who's almost to the point of needing an editor, or if you're a realtor trying to find someone who's thinking about buying or selling, those things that are more process oriented, that are a bit more difficult, like there's not a lot of evidence online, or there's less evidence. If someone's a business coach, they're going to put it in their job title, right? So just know if you're more toward the process, that it will be a bit more challenging for you. You'll have to focus a bit more. Or if you've ever had someone who helps people with back pain, well, how do they narrow that down? How would they find it, right? And so you really have to kind of go a few levels deep. For example, they might simply Google, what are the top 5 jobs that cause back pain? 5 jobs? Okay, now go find those people on LinkedIn, right? Okay. All right. And I work with pregnant women and would like to know how to, okay. So yes, that would be an example over here where it's a bit more challenging. And like with yours, you would probably have to focus mostly on some type of group, whether it's Facebook group, LinkedIn groups, or the other route is who is currently who is speaking to pregnant women? Is there a podcast? Is there some kind of platform leader, influencer? They don't have to be major, they don't have to be national, but who's already talking to your ideal clients that you can partner with, that you can speak with, that you can be on their podcast. Actually, that's an incredible tip for anyone. LinkedIn, sometimes the frustration is it's like one-to-one. And if you want to shift, look for those people who are in front of your audience in a bigger way. All right. Or there's what David said there as well. Okay. So I want to jump in and talk about authenticity. This is one of the things, I feel like there's a movement going on right now. And I feel like with a lot of self-employed people, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, you're doing your own thing. I feel like there's we're kind of getting sick of gurus. Like we're just kind of done feeling like we're on this factory line where like they don't get me, they don't understand me, because you're unique, your business is unique, what you're bringing to the table, all of that, everything that makes up the context is interesting. And so I feel like if I had to give a name to this movement, it would be simply called Trust Yourself. And a lot of today, I'm going to be redirecting you back to trusting yourself. So when it comes to authenticity, that is one of the main things to do, is that you have to trust yourself and show up as you. That is what people want. That means if you're all about rings and bracelets and necklaces, then wear those. If you're all about huge hats, wear those. If you're all about tattoos, don't hide them. Be yourself. However that looks for you. My peak performance partner, Rachel Freeman Sowers, one of her ways that she is authentic is her background for her videos shows things that she's passionate about. And so it's just this incredible collage of different things she is passionate about because that's authentic to her. So the first part of this is that you want to honor yourself. In the past, and you've probably done this too, a business coach says, do this to get leads, and you do it, and you're trying to do it, but it doesn't really feel good. You keep thinking, you know what, this is not me. Anything that does not feel like you, that does not feel good, is not going to be sustainable. Do you know how many cold calls I did in 8 years? I did one. Just one. That was enough for me to know this is not for me. I remember looking at the spot on the carpet and thinking, this is where I die. This is where it all ends, right here on the carpet that's tan while I'm living with my mom in Vegas. So always go back to honoring yourself and what works for you, what works for your personality. With my accountability partner, Rachel, video works for her. She doesn't want to do a lot of research. She doesn't want to do too many one-on-one, like one-on-one messages. Video works for her. That's her personality. So for her to go against that would actually hurt her business. She would reach less people and so on and so forth. So I just want to tell you, I'm actually looking at all of your faces or your pictures, your names right now. The more you honor yourself and how you're wired, the more your business will grow. Like the more you find things that are really in tune with you for lead generation, the more your business will grow, because being authentic is just sustainable. You choose to be authentic and you just keep doing it. So you keep showing up as you. There are two quotes yesterday from one of my favorite LinkedIn connections. I want to read them to you. Jason Van Orden. One of his quotes was, networking is a long game. If it's not based on authenticity and curiosity, it will be an energy suck. And then he was talking about a book that was just released by phenomenal coach Dory Clark. And something she said was, to him, he had texted her and said, I'm just not getting this with networking. It's hard. This is not my thing. And she said, focus your time and energy on the people that you authentically feel a connection with. So with all of this, there's no like magic bullet. There's nothing incredible, amazing that I'm going to say here that's going to transform your life or your business. However, what is going to transform your business is the more that you begin trusting yourself and redirecting your attention back to yourself, the more your business will grow. And like we started with, all of this revolves around relationships and conversations. So in the chat, I just want to see, how well do you trust yourself with your business and figuring things like lead generation out? Like 10's a lot, 1's a little. where are you at right now with where you trust yourself in your business? Okay, thank you for being honest. 4, 8, 6, 7, 7, 8. Okay, outstanding. Very good. Okay, very good, Lexi. Excellent. Good. Thank you for sharing. And so like this, you know, it's an a 10. Awesome. With this, it's almost like what every financial guru says, like, where are you starting? Let's just know it and then begin improving it. You know, the more you flex your trusting yourself muscles, the more they're going to grow. Now, before we get into lead generation, I'm curious if you have any questions about authenticity. I know that might be an odd topic, but I tell you, between course students, clients, the more they trust themselves, the more they show up authentically, there's a massive, massive difference. So any questions about authenticity?
Well, the questions come in. I just want to comment, Eric, that you explained it so well. Like, I knew you were going to talk about authenticity, but I was expecting this like complex, like this is what it is. And it's like, trust yourself. I'm like, well, I can do that. It's just trust myself. Go with my gut. Half of the time I'm sitting there, I'm like, is this authentic? Is this not? I should just go with my gut instead of thinking up here in my head. So I loved how you presented that, made it very simple. A lot of times when people talk about authenticity, it's just, it's more complex than it needs to be, I think.
Right. Yeah. And sometimes, you know, with being authentic, you know, sometimes you might relate this to intuition, following your gut, so on and so forth. Like in January, I just knew it was time to, I wanted to do kind of some type of freebie or lead magnet. And nothing, like I was thinking, PDFs, this, for me, this just feels boring to me. And so I was talking through with my peak performance partner, which is a mouthful to say. And I said, you know what, I want to do a video vault. I just want to do simple trainings that are not inside a course that I sell, but simple trainings that are going to help people. That would be interesting to me. And so, and I also committed to my email list. And so I emailed them twice a month now. And then it's, hey, here's a new training in the video vault. And some of it's LinkedIn how-to things. And then some of it's lead generation techniques that are simple that we're talking about today. But it was just as, I couldn't have found that, you know, it was just an idea. Now video vaults are somewhat common and everything. But once that came to me, it was just do this. Don't research it, you know, or a few months ago, I'm going to start doing live streams. Don't research, just start doing live streams. Just start going, you know. So I am looking forward to each of you as you do press into trusting yourself. And I will tell you, this is not easy. Trusting yourself is not always easy. I just want to give that little disclaimer. You will have these automatic responses. This is like, remember being a kid and like going down the big slide? We have these patterns that are ingrained. Like some of you, one of your patterns is you're undercharging. And you kind of have to do that stimulus response, put a space in between and breathe for a second. Am I really trusting myself with these prices? Am I trusting myself with this? Am I trusting myself with that? So even though trust yourself is a simple phrase, do be on the lookout. Be on the lookout for those subtle ways that the old patterns are showing up. Okay, that is it for authenticity. No more authenticity. We're done for today. No more authenticity.
Real quick, Eric, I think, David, I just wanted to check, you have your hand raised. Do you have a question? Do you want to come on camera and ask your question?
Actually, it wasn't so much a question as a comment in trusting yourself. See, when people start their own business, they have this idea of how you're supposed to act as a business person. You got to wear the IBM suit, or you got to do this, or you got to do that. You got to lose all those thoughts to trust yourself. If you want to wear Hawaiian shirts to work, wear Hawaiian shirts to work, because that's you authentically. But way too many people think that they have to get in business mode and they are unable to trust themselves. So that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, that is beautifully said, David. I'm giving you a high five. That is absolutely it, because we put all these, it's like we put all these coats, we put all these things on ourselves that are inauthentic, and then we think we're going to crush it in business. Like we have to battle through all this inauthenticity or things from culture, or, you know, this is how it's supposed to be, this is how you're supposed to look, so on and so forth. And, you know, when you just let go of all that and just get back to you, get back to you, get back to you, it really isn't a liberating thing. And, you know, there is the argument of, well, I might lose followers or connections. Good, great. For everyone you lose, you're probably going to gain 2 or 3, you know, who are going to connect with you and being in tune. Okay, anything else? I know we're rounding about almost half an hour. Anything else? Okay, all right. Well, let's jump into some doable and simple lead generation techniques. What do you say? So the first one, what I'm going to do is I want to share at least 3. If we have more time, I'm going to share some more. And I don't think I'll be going too fast, so you can always review the recording a bit later. And so the first strategy is one of the most simple ones, and that is, I'm just going to share my screen here. And that is using LinkedIn search. Okay. So right now I can barely see the chat bar, just a heads up for you, Hillary. So LinkedIn search, if you know the title of who you're looking for, this is like insane. This is crazy that you can just look for people with a certain job title. If you try doing this on Facebook, it's harder. If you try doing this on Instagram, it's difficult. Try do it on Twitter. Twitter I've found is the least relational network. Very difficult, you know. And you know, there's almost like these little, there are 80 things you could be doing today in social media marketing, and most of them, probably the majority, will have little to no ROI. Okay. And so when you think about LinkedIn search, for example, like this was a search for business coach. Now in LinkedIn search, you can put quotations and that will do the whole phrase. So business coach, fitness coach, you know, food blogger, anything like that. It's called the Boolean search. You can look that up and it shows you the different techniques. But what's fascinating is if you work with business coaches, you can search for business coaches. They're going to come up. So there's 79,000. And then from there, you're probably familiar with ways to filter. You know, your first connections would be business coaches you're currently connected with. Your second connections are ones who you have a mutual connection. So a second connection would be someone connected to Hillary, whom I'm not connected with. And then third connection means no mutual connections at all. So for this, if I wanted to reach out to business coaches with whom I share a mutual connection, I would click second for connections, and then it's going to update the list, and then here they are. So there's 14,000. So we share a mutual connection. We might share 1, we might share 4, you know, it could be any variety. But this is one of the key places to, you know, think about this. If you just send whatever, you might pick 30 a week, you might pick 50 a week. If you reach out to them, you can start building your network. And like I said, this would be with anyone who, this is the most easiest search on LinkedIn is by a job title. So if you know your job title, this would be ideal for you. Someone mentioned pregnancy. Search pregnant, search for pregnant, search for pregnancy, see what comes up. You know, you'll probably see people who are working with women who are pregnant, or perhaps a group, something along those lines. So this is one of the easiest ways to reach out to people, to build your connections, and to start building your network. Now, before I take questions on this, as you know, you can connect, right? And you have the option to add a note on desktop, right? And so adding a note is where you send a personalized message. I always advocate to send a personalized message. Now, with this is where I'm going to direct you to be authentic with yourself. There's a lot of bad marketing on LinkedIn. Some of these messages, I saw one message that said, "Dear Santa, I want this for Christmas." Oh, wait, you're not Santa. Oh, right. Another one was a knock knock joke, right? Now, maybe those resonate with some people. They didn't resonate with me because it felt too just like, really? I think I just got copy and pasted. And so with these, this is a bit more art than science. When you reach out to people, as much as possible, you want to make it about them. You know, there's nothing wrong with saying this, but ideally, you don't want to say, "Hi, Jenny, I just came across your profile and I'm working to build my network and would like to connect." Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but Jenny's not waking up thinking, "Man, I hope I get some LinkedIn connection requests from some random people so I can help them build their network today." Like that would just make me come alive, right? Nobody is waking up thinking that. However, if you can reach out to people like this and just, intrigue them or share like what's in it for them. Sometimes I share things like, I see that you are a business coach. On a regular basis, I share content about authenticity and identifying ideal clients on LinkedIn. If that sounds like something interesting to you, let's connect. And that's it. So it's almost when you send that, you want it to be just so light. You want it to feel easy to them. You don't want it coming across heavy-handed or pushy or anything like that. Now, if you have space, every once in a while, if I see a common connection, if I see where they live, I'll make a reference to that. I see you're in Santa Monica. I haven't been there in years. Or it could be anything, any reference to a school, their style of business, anything along those lines. But when you send this is their first experience of you. And so the more you can put, what's in it for them into it, the better. We don't want them to feel like, "Hey, I'm Eric and I have something to sell to you. Just click this button," right? Nobody wants that. So using LinkedIn search, if you're not familiar with it, I am going to encourage you to use it. If for some reason you need to use different locations, if you focus on a certain location, if you have perhaps a digital side and an in-person side of your business, kind of a hybrid, you can also search, different areas, and this is all LinkedIn's turf. If it's a small town, it's not going to come up. But just know that you can search by states and or regions, city areas to a certain extent. And if that's you, you should definitely take advantage of it. So I want to hear some questions now. I want to hear what you're thinking. I want to hear what perhaps bothers you about this, what perhaps annoys you, what holds you back from this. Okay. And Hillary, can you?
Yes.
Okay.
I think, sorry if I'm mispronouncing it, but Gurjeet, did you want to come on video and ask a question? You have your hand raised as well.
Yes, Hillary, I am here. And
Perfect.
the question I have for Eric is, would a note like this seem appropriate when you're connecting, say, with a doctor or a midwife, to share about the prenatal education program that I'm currently offering, which is unique, extremely valuable for people who'd like a natural birth. So could I say, I see that you are connected with, I see that you're serving pregnant women. And I do offer a program that's geared for women who want to have a natural birth. Would that be of interest to you?
Okay, this is a phenomenal question. My recommendation is to put space between reaching out to them and then having a conversation about working together. So in other words, we don't want their first experience with you to be offering or selling something. Because when they connect to you, everyone has a filter, and they're always running us through this filter. Who are you? Are you talented at what you do? Do you have expertise? You know, they might be looking at education, how many years in business, you know, do I personally connect with you? So many things like that. And so when you connect with them, only send the connection request to connect and be unattached to the outcome. You know, my stance is if you're giving, you're winning. We just want to give, 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 give. Now, the beautiful thing, how do you pronounce your name?
Gurjeet, like a guru. So Gurjeet.
Gurjeet. So Gurjeet, when you do this, your first connection request, your invite or add a note is simply to connect. That's it. Once they've connected with you, many of those people will look at your profile. They're going to look at your headline. They're going to be thinking, so who is she and what exactly does she do? And that is a great step that a lot of people do take. Now, then from there, we're talking about, this is really brilliant you brought this up. This is a space between, hi, I'm Eric, I'm a stranger, and do you want to work together, right? This is a space between, and we have to be very tactful and caring in our approach. So between these two spaces, if they post content, interact with them. If they post an article, if they post something that they experienced that day, interact with them. I'm so glad you shared this. You know, this makes me think about XYZ. So you want to engage with people between being a new connection request and actually sharing something with them, like an offer or an assessment or a discovery call.
So what would be a really good way of just introducing yourself? Like, hi, so-and-so, I see that you help pregnant women and I do the same too. And that's it?
Yeah, you could, yeah. This would be a message that we would want to, like if it were one-on-one, we would want to go through it a couple of times. You know, like for me to give you the perfect phrase to say right now, I don't have that perfect phrase, right? But you can say, you know, something authentic along those lines of, you know, I also work with this group of people and I would love to connect. It could relate to, I feel I will benefit from your content and I think you'll benefit from my content. So as long as you create connectedness, that's what you're looking for. You're very welcome.
That answers my question.
Okay. All right. Anyone else? We have about 20 minutes.
Do you find yourself typing the same message over and over again, or is it really customized to who you're connecting with, into the sense that you even like maybe look at their profile, see what they're posting, what articles they've done, that sort of thing? I mean, going with my gut, right? Trusting myself, I would assume if I start copying and pasting or typing the exact same message, I'm probably missing something where I could connect with people deeper. Would you agree in that?
Yeah, I think it's an individual choice. I do use copy and paste messages from time to time, but only when I feel good about sending them. And it's like, it's real, it's authentic, because we don't want to say, oh, I see that you're a business coach, and maybe they moved out of being a business coach 5 years ago. You know, when those disconnects happen, that's when we really lose people. So, you know, because what really the question here is, do I have to customize every single message? And my guess is no, I don't do that. You know, I might have 2 or 3 lines that are the same for a specific group of people, but then I want to put something personal, like, oh, I can't believe you know so-and-so. I met him in person last year. or I see we both attended this event together. So for me, because it works for me, it feels good, is there's a bit of copy and paste, and then there's a bit of just that personal touch of how do I literally authentically connect with this person? What do we have in common?
Awesome, love it. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Yes, and David has a great point here. Read their profile, check them out on Facebook. Absolutely. Ideally, when you do the search, open up a new tab and just read through their profile. And sometimes you don't want to start out with hey, can we work together too fast? Because frankly, some of you have gotten into these things like, you know what, I'm on this podcast and I just listened to this person's episodes, and this is not for me. We don't fit. We don't fit philosophically or whatever. So you also want to honor yourself that, some people are not where you're at, and they're not going to be the best person for you to partner with. And doing that's going to feel pretty lame, to be honest. All right, I'm going to stop my share for just a moment. Okay, so I want to go ahead and move on. And now I can see everyone's faces. Another technique that you can use is hashtags on LinkedIn. So with hashtags, there are certain hashtags that you can follow. And so right now, you could actually go on LinkedIn and look at what are people saying about certain topics, about, obviously they're using certain hashtags in their post. So let's look at that for just a moment. So for example, I'm going to take this out. Let me just go back. So if you're on your desktop and you scroll down to the left, you're going to see in this little bitty font, followed hashtags: solopreneur, LinkedIn, relationship marketing, content strategy, leads, social selling. So for example, if I click on solopreneur, sometimes your ideal clients are going to identify themselves or tag themselves in their posts. And this is a great way for you to scroll through and see who might be a great fit for you. So literally this, I would scroll down, I would, look at you're going to see some of their headlines. You can click over to their profiles to read more. You can look at how they're using it. But as you can see here in the highlighted part, the people who are using hashtags, we can easily find them on LinkedIn. And actually, let's do this. I just searched for the word solopreneur. So any word you want, you can actually type in the word and then click on posts. And this is going to bring up posts where that word is being used. So for example, what are your ideal clients talking about? What are your ideal clients posting about? All those types of things. It's pretty fascinating how LinkedIn is just a wealth of knowledge that you can just quickly look and find certain people. Now, it could be that the hashtag that you're looking for is a type of pain point. It might be a benefit. It could be a job title. Hashtags can be any wide variety of words or phrases. But hashtags are another technique that are pretty simple to use, and you just have to spend a little time with them and basically see how they work. Any questions about that?
One question I have, and I'm just going back to Gurjeet's kind of question of how do I find, someone who's in, or what you mentioned, in the process of, are hashtags a better way for in the process of, I don't know if people announce their pregnancies on LinkedIn, but if they did, I can imagine it would be searching the post and seeing if that comes up, or if someone's in the, hey, now I finally need an editor for my book. Is hashtags a bit better for that kind of in the process or type of person or target market?
Yeah, those folks are more challenging to find. However, the thing is, you can search for the word. So I could search for a solopreneur that's in their post, or you could search for the hashtag as well. So ideally, here's where it's going to be a bit different. You want to figure out which of these work the best for you. So I would search both of those. And now in your mind, this might feel like a lot, but this is literally, if you take 30 minutes to do this, you're going to start making distinctions. My audience talks about this more than that. My audience uses this hashtag, but not those hashtags. And the more distinctions you build around that, the better. But you can search it as a hashtag, and you can also search it in the post, Hillary. That's a great question.
Perfect. And we did have another question, but it maybe is back on the invite topic, and maybe it's another strategy. But once someone accepts our invites, is that when we tell them about our services and ask them to reach out if they need it? Like, let them know, like, hey, I'm here. This is what I do. If you ever need me, I'm over here. Is that the right time after they connect with us? Or is there others, like, how do we build, I guess, this relationship after the connection?
Okay, that's great. Great question. Yes. So you want to put space, like we talked about, between connection request and offering something. All of us probably feel really sleazy when, Bob sends me a connection request, I say yes, and then 10 minutes later, Bob sends me 8 paragraphs about his business and how he can change my life. Right. Alex, have you experienced that? You're smiling. I don't know if there's something, yeah, you've experienced that. I was like, something's happening off the screen, or Alex knows what I'm talking about. And that's just an instant turnoff for people. You just vomited all these paragraphs on me without getting to know me first. Or perhaps you didn't even look at my profile first. Like, what? And so, like Jason said, this is a long game for networking. So let me tell you, between the connection request and reaching out, I usually prefer around 30 days. It can be more or less for you. But during that time, you want to interact with that person. If they're sharing content, interact with that content. The second thing you can do is permission-based marketing. So this would be something like, Rich, I just heard this incredible podcast about, your something in your industry. You'd be more specific than that, right? And I would say, if you'd like me to share the link with you, let me know. So the thing is, you don't share the link. You just ask if he's interested, right? Now, you can also do permission-based. It could be a podcast, a book recommendation, anything like that. And it really has to feel and be like legit. Like, I really think this will help them. They just posted about how cash flow is really difficult. Hillary, I know a connection who's a CPA, and she is dropping incredible posts about cash flow 3 or 4 times a week. Do you want me to send you her profile link or do a direct introduction? Wait, what? You just came along to help me? Yeah, now you have my attention, right? And so those would be legitimate things. Or if, what else? It can be anything that's just connective. For me, like with LinkedIn, even if someone reached out and said, hey, Eric, LinkedIn just did this new update. Have you heard about it yet? Because maybe I haven't, maybe it's only been out a day or 2, right? That would be like, it's just that moment when people are thinking about you, and they don't have to be, because they have a massive to-do list. And right now, I don't know what the dog's doing. Now the kittens, they're downstairs like wreaking havoc, right? They're doing what kittens do. But so to think like there's all these things going on in our life, and yet this person took a moment of their day to think about me and to offer me something that could help me advance my goals. Like that is very, very connective.
Awesome, love it. And follow up to that is, would asking them to join our mailing list to receive like great tips on whatever subject, you know, that we work with, would that be of something of value? Would that work too?
Personally, I would not do that. The main thing to know is if someone connects with you on LinkedIn, they do not give you permission to snag their email and throw it in their email list, and then they start emailing you. So that turns people off. I would just do posts about it or have it as a call to action in your profile. You know, if you want more tips about XYZ, I'm delivering those every single Monday morning for my subscribers. Feel free to join here. You know, something like that. I would make that very, very invitational for them. Who's been put on a email list and you didn't sign up? Can you wave your hands? Okay. Right. So, but Hillary, we do want to make those things available for people. So I might do a content post and then do something like just a simple call to action. You know, I go in depth about this in my free conversational leads video vault. If you want access, you can click below. You know, you can always just do those little calls to action. And then how about asking them to join your mailing list to receive great tips on recruiting interest?
That was the one I just asked you.
Oh, okay. All right, excellent. So let me I want to give you actually two more techniques, and then let's jump into a Q&A. One technique, and this really depends on LinkedIn. So I actually don't know if I'm going to have one to show you here. But what LinkedIn does from time to time is LinkedIn is going to show you popular posts. Or if you're following hashtags, LinkedIn is going to say something like, you know, they say it more in business language than I'm saying it here, but they'll say something like, people are responding to Hillary Torn's post. You might want to comment. Or people are responding to this post about this hashtag. You might want to comment. And so like this one, Lisa, who's amazing. People are reacting to Lisa Neisser's posts. And sometimes if you know that these popular posts are attracting your ideal clients, you just want to be very mindful of those. I've had sometimes where a popular post or even a viral post, all of a sudden it's attracted all these people who are my ideal clients. And it was just, thank you for doing the work, because now I have a list and I can literally just click through and connect with these people. So you would just want to be mindful of those when you're on your desktop, when you're in your app. Like this one says, respond as my company page on a trending post. Those opportunities, you want to make the most of those. So to back it up, you have LinkedIn search that you want to get to know. We've talked about the space between connection request and offering something like a discovery session, an assessment, anything like that. We've talked about hashtags, which I encourage you to get to know and to use. And then we talked about the popular posts techniques as well. And let me give you, how many of you use your Facebook? I'm jumping over to something else, just so you know. How many of you use your Facebook profile for business? Not your company page, your Facebook profile. You share business posts from time to time, anything like that? Okay, I have one. Oh, I have two no's. Oh, I have, okay. Okay, a few yeses, a few no's. Okay. Here's one thing you can do that is very simple, and it might take just a few minutes of your time. Now, this would ideally be you have some business connections on your Facebook profile. Go to Facebook stories, ideally on your desktop. You can do it. You can do it on your mobile. I think it's easier on your desktop. And you know, it's going to show you this rectangle. And what you're going to do is you're going to scroll through every single one of those. And if someone's a business connection, you're going to leave a comment. And if they know a lot of people in business, you're going to leave a comment. And you're basically just going to do a sweep and just write whatever's authentic. I'm so glad you guys are on the beach right now. I wish I were there. Or that food looks amazing. Or congrats on your new business page. Or you can literally do a sweep. I call it a sweep. just do comments, 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 comments. And now they're going to receive the comments in Messenger, unless something changed over the last few days, right? And it's just a way, it's kind of like just like just small touches, like, oh my God, your kids look so cute for the first day of school. You know, anything, just anything conversational, authentic to you. Very simple way, only takes a moment. And in fact, here's the crazy thing. That's why we're all on this call today. That's why Hillary and I got connected. Because I popped into someone's story and we started chatting about her business, and she said, you know what, I need to introduce you to someone. And I said, who? She's like, oh, Hillary Torn of IntroWise. And I said, I don't know, sounds kind of sketchy, but I said, we'll go for it. But because of that simple little message opened up a conversation, and then that opened up an introduction. And the whole gist of all of this is that we're constantly starting conversations. We're initiating conversations and generating conversations. With that being said, are there any questions in the chat or on video?
I have one question, Eric, and I'm just going to backtrack a little bit. When you were chatting about popular posts, when we go there, do we comment on the popular posts? Do we connect with people? Is a little bit of both? What do we do to interact with these posts, or how can we use them to generate leads?
Okay, yeah, great point. So I would definitely leave a comment. The thing is, when you leave a comment, they're going to see your headshot, they're going to see your professional headline, and you know, it's just one more mark of visibility. It's also an opportunity for you to share your expertise. You know, don't say anything generic. Thank you for sharing. Oh, what a great post. Oh, this is so inspirational. La 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 la. Those are vanilla. Those don't really, they're just vanilla. They're really boring. But if you can bring out a distinction, you know, or something interesting, even if it's something just heartfelt of like, I've always wanted to put it in words, but this finally did it for me. Boom, you know, or, you know, any type, like I said, just a distinction that shows like you're coming to the ball game, you're ready to play. So your comment can help you stand out in a sea of comments that can help people in that thread reach out to you, because most of them are going to get notified that there's more comments on that thread. And then it's a two-pronged approach. And then the second one is, yes, you would reach out to them. So you could literally say, hey, Tina, I just saw that you commented on Hillary's post, and I would really appreciate to connect with you, as we're in the same industry, or we're, you know, something in common. Great question. And then there's another question. I'm just going to jump to it, Hillary. Do we need a premium account on LinkedIn? This is up to you. What happens is, if you send when you send out connection requests, you don't want to do too many at a time. LinkedIn is very ambiguous, and LinkedIn's not going to tell us any certain number, right? But what happens is, like if I sent out 50 messages today, for example, LinkedIn will tell me, hey, you just hit our commercial use limit for our free plans, and you can upgrade here. And it will tell you, so you will, basically it's going to say this will reset at the first of the month. Now, if you go to, here's the tip. If you go to a company page, if a lot of people are connected to a company page or their employees, if you do it that way, you will hit the limit faster. But if you're just doing a regular search, like just run one or two searches, open up different tabs. For most of my business, I've actually used a free account, and I've just gone premium when I feel like it's a very focused season for me on LinkedIn. But a premium account, like using Sales Navigator, is actually phenomenal. It'll cost you $100 a month, or to be buy a year and you'll get $200 off, something like that. But the thing is, that's a later conversation. I would say get used to search, get used to reaching out to people, initiate conversations. And then when you feel like, I really have a great grasp on this, I'm being authentic, I'm finding it easy to start conversations, then jump up to premium. if you want, and if you're committed to it. You don't want to pay $100 for something you're not going to use.
Perfect. Awesome, Eric. Well, I know we're at our ending time. So do you have like 10 minutes to stay on in case we have more questions?
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. So for those of you who need to go, we completely understand. If you want to learn more about Eric, here is his IntraWise profile. He does offer his freebie, which is more about generating these conversations for building relationships on LinkedIn. It's a video vault. I highly recommend you guys download it if you liked this webinar. He also offers a free 15-minute consultation if you want to learn more about working with him one-on-one or working with him through his course. So thank you all very much for being here. If you have to go, completely understand. And if you want to stay on and ask Eric some more questions for the next 10 minutes, you're absolutely welcome to do that. So thank you very much, everyone. Excellent. And Shelly Ann says that she really enjoyed this webinar. She's been the one that's been posting from Facebook, so she has to run, but she absolutely found it valuable. So thank you very much. And then I don't know, did we miss, I don't think I missed any questions, but feel free to ask any more questions, you guys. If you have, run them in the chat, or you're welcome to raise your hand too, and we can pull you up on video. So excellent. You know, one question I had with you, Eric, and I don't know, maybe this is I don't know the answer to this. Maybe this is like a trick question or whatnot. But one of the questions I have is, have you noticed a difference between countries and how people connect with relationships? Like, are some countries more open to the sales pitch early on than others? Or other, you know, I think this came up. I was just talking to someone who was saying that, you know, some of the stuff I was writing is quite salesy, and where I live in Estonia, it's a little bit less like that. And I was like, well, yeah, in America, you kind of have to it's like you have to keep reminding people. Have you come across that? I know you live in a foreign country too. Have you seen that, or is it really just about being yourself and not worrying about the cultural differences?
Yeah, I think it is. I haven't noticed any. Well, most of my clients and students are US, Canada, England, and other places as well. So I haven't really seen any huge things. I really do think it comes down to, trusting yourself and really finding a way that you connect with that specific culture the best or the most authentically, but like in person, things here in Mexico, super social. WhatsApp is used for business a lot. I have like chiropractor in my phone, dentist, all this stuff. And so in the US, there's more of like a distance. So I think it would be true to yourself, trial and error, and then figuring out what works best. Just see what works best for you.
Awesome. Great. And do we have any other questions? Let's see, we can wait, or any other last thoughts or anything else you want to say while we wait and see if questions are coming in?
Yeah, any questions, feel free to jump on video. Between social media marketing agency, private clients, students, I definitely see a lot across the spectrum of social media, lead generation, what's happening, what's flopping, all that stuff. So I'm really available here for a little mini session if you want to ask something very specific about your business.
So Eric, hi, I'm Sarah.
Hey, Sarah.
I would love to hear a little bit about when you have a client, what exactly do you do? I am my company, I started a company about 1.5 years ago, and we do talent acquisition, talent development, training and development, and recruiting. Those are my and so I always tell people I'm good at what I do when it comes to the HR stuff. I suck about this lead generation stuff. I don't think you can find anybody who's worse than I am. But I'm just trying to think about when you find somebody. I never really considered myself a salesperson, which I have been. I've been selling my organization all my career, but now I'm doing this. So how do you kind of get, I know it's part of it is mindset, but how do you actually get the work done? I'm looking for help in that area. Is how do I do emails. I have a pretty nice, I've grown my database from 0 to about almost 1,000 right now over the last year. So I am doing some of that. I know people are enjoying my content, but I feel like I'm not getting as many calls as I think I should. So I feel like I don't know if I'm doing something what I'm doing. I know I'm doing something wrong, but I don't know what it is.
Okay. So you're posting content, correct?
Say that again?
You're posting content?
I'm posting content, sometimes more consistent than others, but other times, yes, I am.
Okay. All right. Let's see. So with your content, one thing to consider is from time to time, have a call to action in your post. Are you doing that?
I am. All my posts, I said, if you want to, schedule a call with me, basically. Yeah. To learn more.
Okay, got it. Okay. So another thing on LinkedIn is a technique that's very popular is putting the link in the first comment.
I've done that too.
Oh, you're doing that too. Okay, good. I'm just sort of like going through this mental list. Okay, very good. All right. One side strategy is something like if you have any business besties, close people who are also on LinkedIn quite a bit, you can simply request, hey, when you see my post, will you leave a comment? Comments are very valuable because you'll get more posts. You'll get more views, right? So I could post, I have about 5,000 almost 5,000 connections. And if I do a post, just a post, it might get 30 to 100, 200 views. If I get comments on it, it can hit up to 700, 800. If it just hits on the right thing, which LinkedIn doesn't tell us, my highest post this year got 15,000 views. Nice. So if you can have people commenting, that would be helpful. Now, the next thing you might do is you might, if I heard you correctly, not feeling like a salesperson, that sort of thing, you can just sort of take off that, like the word, I personally, like sales feels a bit weird to me still. Lead generation, I'm not a big fan of that word, but people understand that word. So for me, I just always think about people, conversations, who can I help, who can I connect to, that sort of thing. So you might identify 10 people today, Sarah, and ask them if they're willing to have a phone call with you or a video call, and ask them, who do you know who would be a great connection for me? So with LinkedIn, one of the powerful things about it is moving the relationship, the friendship from an online platform, LinkedIn, into a video call, like bringing it into the real world or a phone call. So I would say you have a gold mine in your network, especially your closest friends and business connections, that sort of thing. So asking them and requesting and sharing what they want, sharing what you're looking for, that can be very powerful. And this can be as simple as maybe I send you a message in LinkedIn and I say, Sarah, I'm looking to take on 2 to 3 private clients in the next 6 weeks, and I'm looking for a certain type of person. Can we get on a video call? I would like to describe this person to you and see if someone comes to mind. Very light, no pressure. And you want them on the call, because when you have someone on a call, you have their attention, and that is invaluable. If you send if you tell them everything you're looking for in an email or a message, it won't go anywhere. Most of the time it goes nowhere, because they're going to look at their phone. This is not my phone, but they're going to look at their phone. Okay, and now this happened, and I'm getting ready to walk out the door, all that stuff. But if you just say, if you request a call. Then you have their undivided attention. And then at that point, you can see who they can connect you with. So this is literally something I could do with Hillary next week. Hillary, I'm looking for a few people who could really use my Done With You LinkedIn course. You know, can we get on a call together? I'd really like to see if you would be willing to introduce me to someone. And then when Hillary does the introduction, it would be very connective, very light. You know, Hillary would say something like, Sarah, I know you're on LinkedIn and you're really working on building your connections and generating sales. I'd like to introduce you to Eric. He's been doing this for over 8 years. I think you two will have, I think you two could have a very insightful conversation together, and I'll let you take it from here. Okay. It could be as simple as that. And what's really cool about this, Sarah, is because you're a warm referral, you start out much higher to that person. When we're on LinkedIn and it's a cold, it's someone new, you know, they're going through all those things like, who's Eric? What's his content like? Will I like him? Is he a good trainer? They're going through all those things. But if I have Hillary endorse, actually Hillary's on this side of me. If I have Hillary endorse me to you, then in your mind, I'm elevated.
Okay. So basically, reach out to some people I know and ask them if they would be willing to get on the phone with me, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. So I would definitely encourage you to keep posting. The thing is with posts do not guarantee sales. No. Visibility does not guarantee sales. It doesn't guarantee sales calls. So while we do want posts and to be visible, many times it's nice to add a complementary strategy where we're getting on calls and video calls with people.
Yeah. I think I'm that. Thank you.
Yeah, this is such a great strategy. I'm just wondering, I assume it would work with clients too who have worked with us and who are really happy with us to jump on a call with them and ask them for this type of referral.
You got it. Because what happens is you're looking for experts. So most people who are self-employed experts, thought leaders, they're going to know others because they've collaborated. And so I really think it would be pretty, it wouldn't be very difficult, you know, even if it was a call and you just said, you know, Eric, we'd really like to add some experts who can really benefit from our service, who are really like in sync with us. I know you've worked with several people through the years. Does someone come to mind? Do you mind doing an email introduction? You know, and you would help guide my thinking. Well, I know so-and-so, but you might say, oh, well, that's close, but I think we're probably not the best fit. And you would kind of direct me, you know, to giving a warm referral and an introduction.
Good. Thank you.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Eric. We won't take any more of your time, but I do encourage all of you, if you found this webinar useful, if you're watching the replay, to check out Eric on InchWise, get his video vault. I know I'm probably going to be downloading it myself. That's completely free, right, Eric?
Yes.
That's amazing. And then you offer a free discovery call as well, and one-on-one sessions, and your course on LinkedIn.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Eric. Thank you everyone for attending, and have a great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you all so much.
Bye.
Thank you.